Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, respected participants and presenters of the 15th CONAPLIN. First thing first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Maida Kurniati, and I am a graduate student of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, majoring in English Education 2022. And today I would like to present my research entitled English Medium Instructions, EMI, of secondary school students and its impact on the learning achievement, a case study in a private bilingual junior high school of Indonesia. And the research is written by me, Maida Kurniati, and Ibu Yanti Rizal from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Okay, here's the outline of my presentations. First is introductions, and then we start to review, methodology, finding, and discussions. And last but not least, I will be coming with my conclusions. Let us start with the introductions. Nowadays, English has emerged as a modern-day global language. It is utilized in varieties of socio-economic contexts, including travel and tourism, business and commerce, communications and entertainment, and not to mention learning and education. This new paradigm is extensive and has significant influence in how decisions are made regarding the language of instructions in educational fields. I'm talking about the language instructions and its relations to the widespread of English language in the world. EMI, or English Medium Instructions, has gained popularity and expanded into a rising global phenomenon. EMI itself is defined as the use of English to teach academic subjects other than English itself in nations where the majority of the population does not speak English. And for secondary and primary schools, EMI is growing in popularity across the world due to lots of factors, such as desire to prepare students from their early age for EMI university courses, and the importance of the English language, of commerce, and popular culture. However, controversy about the implementations of EMI also arises because some people think that EMI can make it difficult for the students to understand the concept of the content courses. So in light of this phenomena previously mentioned, so I'm interested to do this research. So the goal of this study is to find out how secondary students, in this case junior or high school students, perceive the implementations of EMI and the impacts to their learning achievements. Right, moving on to the literature review. First is bilingual education. Bilingual education is defined as the use of the two languages intentionally and systematically throughout a student's academic career. The goal of this method of teaching and learning is for students to become more fluent in their second language via academic studies. Next is EMI, or English Medium Instructions, the pros and the cons. As I explained in the previous sections, EMI is a phenomenon that is spreading quickly among students. According to Darden and Sidikri, a lot of scholars agree that EMI implementations are teaching content subjects in English will improve students' English fluency and increase their chances for greater employment opportunities. Despite all the advantages, there are numerous concerns about using EMI in teaching material. According to Fu and Burns, 2014, some scholars also believe that EMI implementations will hinder student comprehensions of the subject matter. Next, about teaching and learning through EMI in Indonesian context. According to Haryanto and Atini, implementing EMI in Indonesian secondary education classrooms will be a huge undertaking for both students and teachers. Teachers who are working for EMI programs sometimes feel not quite sure about their ability to instruct students in English because they were concerned about the fact that students' limited skills in English language would make it difficult for them to comprehend the material that is being taught in the classroom. And it goes the same for students. The activities like reading and taking notes from teachers will be challenging for those who have a little exposure to English in primary and secondary schools level. Okay, we're moving on to the methodology of the research. This research is a qualitative case study. It involves 13 junior high school students, grade 8, from 2 bilingual classes of a private junior high school in Bandung in the academic year of 2021 and 2022. These research regarding the data collections, this research employs a questionnaire, semi-structured individual interviews, both synchronous and asynchronous via WhatsApp, and forum group discussions. And here are the results of the study. First is about the use of English in participant schools. Apparently, the bilingual classes at the participant school was not fully 100% using English. The majority of the EMI teachers are indeed using English as the language of instructions, mostly in the classrooms. However, they combine it with Bahasa Indonesia, especially in explaining the material. This code switching activity is continuously carried out throughout the class. Next is students' view on the importance of English. At this point, students' view or students' perceptions are categorized into three parts. First is the importance of English for learning, which is shows a positive perceptions, and the importance of English for career, which also shows a positive perceptions. And at the point of English as versus preservations of traditions, it also shows a positive perceptions from the students because they think that the students are actually strongly disagree by the statement that EMI will downplay the significance of Bahasa Indonesia at their school. Next is about the readiness for EMI. Since the schools adopt the Cambridge curriculum, every student takes an English progression test each year to determine their CEFR level before the semester begins. And most of the students will experience English learning at their primary schools, and even some of them had lived and settled abroad. So therefore, referring to those facts, it can be say that this school is actually should be ready for the implementations of EMI. Okay, next is the challenges of EMI in the classroom teaching and learning process. The majority of the participating students asserts that they feel more comfortable if their teachers did not completely deliver the courses in English, because they sometimes face difficulties in understanding what the teachers mean and what the teachers try to convey during the class. And another thing that becomes the barrier on learning using EMI is the teachers' lack of English skills, especially the pronunciations of the EMI teachers. Respondents, students claims that their teachers sometimes they have a very strange pronunciations. It sounds strange and it's difficult to understand, and that is why this makes them difficult to grasp the lessons. Okay, despite all these challenges, effective points about the impacts of EMI for students' learning achievements. Basically, almost all the participating students are agree that the implementations of EMI could assist them in expanding their vocabulary of general English, and they also claim that EMI increased their knowledge of the technical vocabulary of each learning content. And here are the conclusions. There are 3 points to be highlighted. First is participating students show positive perceptions toward EMI implementations and their awareness of the importance of English as their daily learning instructions, because they recognize the global significance, but the importance of English for their academic and professional endeavors in the future, and they do not perceive English as a threat to the existence of Indonesian language and culture. Second is EMI teachers' code switching is inevitable. And next is potential considerations for EMI teachers' lack of English skills is urgently needed, because students' learning outcomes are significantly influenced by the quality of teachers' language instructions. Finally, it is expected that this research will offer recommendations from the viewpoints of EFL practitioner in order to optimize the benefits of the EMI policy in EFL context. I think that will be all for my presentation, and here are the list of references. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.